fancy intro music. Yeah! Woo!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today you and I are going to sit here and talk about incursions, whether it was good, bad, ugly, or what in between. Now, for the past 72 hours, I have been going through and talking to as many people as I can possibly talk to, and not just one-on-one. If you are aware, hopefully you've been following my Discord, but there is a survey that we released to cover the unofficial view of the player base. And what I mean by that, this is not a Scopely sponsored survey. This is one that we decided to run yesterday. Now, at the time of this video, it's been about 30 hours since I released it, which was after the US finished, and I'm still letting EU players contribute. And if you want to contribute, link for this in the comment section of the video. But some early things that we learned, and had over 3,500 players in the past 30 hours respond. So huge thank you to everybody who's participating in this, is to get an idea of what did the player base think about Incursions as a whole, who liked it, who didn't, what were some of the best things and worst things of it. And so basically we kind of have like an Incursions first run grading video in this video. So hey Incursions, we're coming for you. We're here now, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, cheesy rev to the side. Let's start with the very beginning. Incursion conduit sourcing. Now, one of the early pieces of feedback that I'll be presenting to the team, and that many of you will also be sharing with the team, I'm sure, is the fact that the conduit sourcing was a little bit confusing. Now, if you don't remember, the conduit sourcing was part of the IMS. That is a server-wide milestone. So many of you are going, hey, not only do I need the keys to build the subspace relay or the upgrade keys, but I need the conduits to go to a different server. Those were sourced out through the IMS, and if you did not score in the IMS by either building a ship or completing one of the SMSs, there were 2 of them, you lost out on tokens. So I think a big piece of feedback is going to be better sourcing for that, and better explaining what those are and how to get them, because a lot of people end up feeling left out who wanted to participate. That's just part of it though. Moving on to the next step, lag and the initial failure. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that this is delayed by a week because the initial run of Incursions failed. Now, there's several reasons why that happened. The biggest problems were going to be the lag and event scoring issues. Now, we always knew, at least we hoped, that the transfer mechanic would work because, well, that base mechanic has been in the game for years. But could they combine 2 servers and have it work as flawlessly as possible? And I would say that lag, for the most part, for the 3 regions that participated here over the past 3 days, it was much better this go around. Now, there were some tremendous lag episodes. For example, Wednesday morning, before the US servers finished up, lag was ridiculous on most servers, and there were some big lag spikes. For the most part, it felt like they cleared that down a little bit. I'll say one thing that they still need to do, we talked about this in the video, we talked about, hey, take a break. There's a lot of extra currencies, a lot of extra items. There are several things in this game that can be cleaned up that will help performance. The fact that the game needs to pull up my inventory every time I click something and pull up every little freaking item, well, less items, less lag. So little things like that. I think them going through and archiving older accounts also helped with this and helped with the performance issues. But so far, so good from what many of you have said. That was not something that was the biggest issue with the responses that I have. Now, keep in mind that I've still got to go through all thousands of comments and responses, but lag, believe it or not, was not one of the biggest issues. And like I said, we've got over 3,000 players so far who've done the survey that we're doing unofficially, that I'll take to the dev team and that other content creators are participating with. But the top comment I actually got, and yo, when I tell you I have a lot of these, have this between arcs. That is the #1 piece of feedback that I've seen in the official Discord, my Discord, the survey, Facebook, Reddit, YouTube comments, is that they want this to be a between arc. And I will say this, and y'all hear me say this all the time. What do I typically do in between arcs? I take the week off. It's a relaxed week. There's nothing really going on. Crucible of War hasn't been updated. Faction hasn't been updated. We don't have the Borg mini event enough. We don't have enough Apex stuff. That week is kind of like a week. I think Incursions running in the middle of a battle pass just presents too many potential problems. Everybody wants to focus on completing the battle pass. That's where the value is every month, especially for those who spend money. That $20, the battle pass gives them a lot of goodies, and people want to be able to collect that. Well, to do that, we need to make sure that we can complete every single day's worth of events. Because one thing that you did have, and we'll talk about this when we get to the PvP section, was you had a lot of players doing things like, oh, I don't know, attacking when people were trying to do their Cypher event, and all the systems that the Cypher was held, people getting jumped during Cyphers, people getting jumped doing their swarms, people getting jumped in. I have no issue with PvP in general. Y'all know I like PvP, but I do think that running it concurrently in a battle pass presented its own bit of problems. There were also people who talked about the desire to have this during a weekend. I understand why it was run during a week. I'm not necessarily on either side of the fence there, weekend versus week, but I will say that running it between arcs, I think, is one of the biggest pieces of loud feedback that I've gotten. And it was backed up by the amount of times it's come up on the channel, on the surveys, etc. But past that point, one of the other pieces of feedback was just, what was the incentive to do this for 24 hours? Now, I loved certain aspects about this, like getting to go over to server 10 and talk to their group, and even the other servers that I play on, getting to see new people and new players. I thoroughly enjoyed. I love that. However, the rewards themselves for the event, very lackluster. And we'll have some of that on the screen. Just kind of, I mean, yeah, they're rewards, but did it excite me enough to participate? No, it didn't. In fact, one of the biggest issues was, and I think this is going to be part of our next point, the reason that PvP kind of fell flat in some regards, one of the layers to that was that the rewards for the SMS were just kind of blah. They really weren't that valuable. And I do give them credit for attempting to do some level of bracketing in the PvP. But here's the problem. The XSLB champion event rewarded you points no matter what. You could hit anything. So even though the SMS was bracketed to where, like, I didn't get points for killing Hectaz and Hectaz didn't get points for killing me in the SMS, the leaderboard was completely open-ended. So you had no incentive to not go around and just smack miners and smack swarm ships and smack, whatever you found laying around. You also had that kind of problem where you could just spam against a dead base and score ridiculous PvP points. Oopsie, did I say that out loud? That's actually been around for a long time. And I don't think that that is a fair way to conduct business. Just literally break an account, somebody's inactive, and you just keep smashing your base and your ships into it. But all of that said, rewards would have helped incentivize the SMS event more. I also think limiting ships to one system, and we've gone over those potential problems. I wasn't super excited about that. But the PvP aspect of raiding I felt was fantastic. I loved the raiding, whether it was invading the raid, defending the raid. I will say that the 24-hour segments of 6 hour, 6 hour, 6 hour could have been set up in a better way, especially communication-wise. We had a lot on server 20 who immediately just went over to server 10. Even though you're in the defense phase, you left. And vice versa, and we noticed that a lot. People were excited about the new mechanic, testing it out, but it wasn't really worded in a way that helped people understand what's the best strategies to go about it. Raiding I felt was a fantastic addition. And I'll go ahead and say this. Shield suppression had to happen to give the level of activity and success that this event had. Now, I say that slowly because I know many of you are going to just you hear the word success and go, oh my God, Rev, I hated this. As I talked about earlier, I did a survey so far of over 3,000 responses. And as you can probably imagine, the people who liked it percentage-wise, higher levels versus lower levels, my bracket of 25 through 30 level players, only about 33% liked it. In the reverse, from 52 to 60, the bracket I made, 33% didn't like it. So there was definitely more enjoyment for the top end of that. That said, there was a lot of enjoyment in the upper 30s and the 40s as well. So it's more like finding the balance there. I think the shield suppression ended up resulting in one thing that we all enjoyed. And I've heard this so many times. It was the most active I've been in the game in months, in years, in weeks. And I told this to server 10 too. The amount of time I spend in server 10's Galaxy chat and just talking to them is the most time I've spent in game not making like a live video or content in weeks. And that's a fantastic win if you're the game. Now, for all those wanting less eyeball time, maybe not a big win, but it does give you an idea. But look, that's part of the reason that I did enjoy Incursions. There are areas that I didn't. The SMS being completely dead for me takes away some of the value. The rewards, very meh. There's nothing in the rewards, whether it was the server-wide rewards or the SMS, that encouraged me to participate. What encouraged me to participate was the community and the activity. None of the rewards were good, in my opinion. Now, moving on to the things I did enjoy, the Galaxy chat and the rating, but more importantly, meeting new players. That I loved. I absolutely loved that. And look, there are a lot of people who enjoy the my server wins, your server wins. We even put a channel in my Discord so that people could post, hey, the scores of who won. And shout out to all the winners and the people who didn't win. But more importantly, did you meet new friends? Did you engage? Did you have a good time? I did. I loved meeting new people, and I love getting to interact with people more than just Discord, because look, as a content creator, I talk to people all the time, but it's something special about actually talking to them in game and getting to know people in game and blowing up your ships in game and having your ships blown up in game. You know, it's we had an impromptu crewing lesson when I was playing on server 10 where I was saying, hey, look, you're a low level player in the 30s. Let me use this player to show you a crew. And Jessup was kind enough to bring out his Enterprise and completely blast away my Valdor to show how crewing can have a G3 ship punch up to a G4 ship. Now, Jessup is a higher level than me, but I can assure you that, you know, the logs that you're seeing on screen can be easily replicated. And that's an opportunity I don't get to have on other servers because I'm not always there. And I definitely don't have Valdors I can just pass out on all my servers that you can blow up against or defeat. So I love that aspect, getting to meet new friends and new people. In any of the servers I participated in Incursions, and y'all know that I play on many servers, any of the ones that I either went and spied at GC or talked to people actively, I had a great time. And that was one of the best aspects of this, is it made it more community feeling. The events themselves need heavy adjustment. And even the scoring, in my opinion, needs adjustment. I felt not just server 20 versus server 10, where server 10 was able to just blast server 20 because of resources rated, but across a lot of other servers, noticing the same thing, that resources rated was weighted a little bit heavy versus PvP. And if they would have adjusted that a little bit to have PvP weighted a little heavier, it could have encouraged more of the PvP like the SMS, where across many servers, nobody even participated in the SMS or got to score there or had to arrange like, hey, anybody on that server want to do the SMS with me? I think doing slight adjustments to that and then potentially adding in a PvE scoring element to encourage people who don't want to do the PvP at all, but give them something to do, could also help. Like one hostile kill is 1 point scored for incursions and on the leaderboard. Sure, it's not that valuable, but it gives people an ability to contribute. And maybe that ends up giving it a better feeling overall. As a whole, I feel like Incursions in the first iteration gets a solid C from me. And I don't take that as a negative. I think that a C for a first time run, I have to include the fact that the first week we tried to run this, it failed. It threw a wrench in the system, that there was lag at various times. The PvP scoring and the PvP banding still a huge issue. But overall, I asked myself, and this is why I put it in the survey like this, did I have fun? I did, which means at worst, it's a C. There's things that could be improved, but for the most part, I thought it was a good mechanic added to the game. There are definitely a lot of things that need to be changed to make it more advantageous and exciting for all players, but I liked it. Lots of things I didn't like, but I liked it. I want to know what you think in the comment section down below. I really do. And I think that if you can provide great feedback in this video and the survey that we're hosting, we can hopefully tweak things just enough to make where everybody starts enjoying it and not just somebody's. And if you disagree, I want to hear that too. This is not just a blow smoke up Scopely's bumhole video. We want honest truth. And if you strongly disagree with the rev, like, hey, I hated the rating, I hated the shield suppression, I hated the PvP, I hated the moving over, I hated it all, let me know. Your opinion is valid. And we'll see where we go from there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a couple favors. Live long and prosper. Stay safe out there, Space Cowboys. But smash the like button. Share this out with your friends and family and anybody on your server who plays Star Trek Fleet Command so that we get as many responses as possible. I appreciate y'all being here. Love y'all. Hope you have a great day. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.
I would like to request to Scopely to add more Klingons to the game. That is what I was told to do. And so I am doing it, which, you know, is not maybe the best thing as a leader to just do what you're told, but it seems like a good request to make to add more Klingons. Everything is better with Klingons, am I right? I am right, because I'm a Klingon. Klingon mach tach judge! We are Klingons, let it remain. All right, Laurel's on a roll today. She's very excited.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.